Hey everyone, I'm Baron, and welcome to Beyond Borders. This is where the Real adventure begins. I'm here to take you far from the crowds, off the beaten path, to places most travelers don't even know exist. Together, we'll uncover hidden gems, walk through ancient cultures, and stand in awe of landscapes that take your breath away. So if you've ever dreamed of exploring the world differently, stick around, hit that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments. What's one place you've always wanted to go, but never dared? Let's go see the world beyond borders. In the folds of China's green hills, the earth moves like a sleeping dragon. Here, humans did not conquer nature. They shaped it with reverence. Longsheng rice terraces, also known as the Dragon's Backbone, stretch across Guangxi province. Layer upon layer, these steppe fields climb the mountains like ancient vertebrae, etched by hand over 650 years ago. Each terrace catches the light differently. Morning mist rolls over silver pools in spring, while autumn paints the hills in gold. In summer, the paddies ripple green like scales in the wind. And when winter frost settles, the terraces glisten like porcelain frozen in time. Built by the Zhuang and Miao ethnic groups, the terraces represent centuries of sustainable farming, passed from one generation to the next. This land is more than agriculture. It's an inheritance of rhythm, harmony, and survival. Even the irrigation system flows with ancestral wisdom. You can hike along the dragon's spine, pausing to watch farmers in broad-brimmed hats sow rice by hand. Visit villages like Pinyin and Dazai, where wooden homes cling to hillsides and red lanterns swing in the breeze. Spend a night in a stilted guest house and wake to clouds drifting through your window. In Longsheng, the land breathes with memory. Every curve a story, every step a prayer in green. Some villages are not built. They are painted into existence. Hongcun is a place where time holds its breath and reflections speak louder than words. Set at the base of the mystical Huangshan Mountains in Anhui Province, Hongcun is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, over 900 years old. It's known as the village in a Chinese painting, and once you arrive, you'll understand why. Water is the soul of Hongcun. Its crescent-shaped moon pond mirrors the sky by day and lanterns by night. A man-made canal system flows like veins between narrow alleyways, while lotus blossoms drift in silence. White walls and black-tiled roofs reflect perfectly in still waters, creating a dreamlike symmetry between earth and heaven. Hongcun was designed in the shape of an ox, with Lijiang Hill as the head and water canals forming the arteries. Built during the Song dynasty, It showcases classic Huizhou architecture, where stone carvings, ancestral halls, and open courtyards whisper stories of scholars, merchants, and artists who once called it home. Tourists can wander through winding cobblestone paths, past ancient doorways carved with forgotten poems. Visit the Chengji Hall, famed for its elaborate woodwork. Watch painters along the banks translate the village into brush and ink. Savor tofu and tea made by hand, or stay overnight in a centuries-old and where paper windows glow with candlelight. In the early morning mist, the whole village seems to float, suspended between memory and myth. In Hongcun, nothing rushes, not the wind, not the water, not even time. It waits for you to arrive. At the edge of the known world lies a lake the color of dreams. Kanas is where the earth becomes myth, and every ripple tells a secret. Hidden in the far north of Xinjiang, near the borders of Russia, Mongolia, and Kazakhstan, Kanas Lake is China's most pristine alpine treasure. Surrounded by snow-capped Alpine mountains, it feels more Siberian than Chinese, a place of silence, reflection, and legend. The lake shifts colors with the seasons: emerald in spring, turquoise in summer, silver in winter. Dense forests of larch, birch, and fir descend into its cold depths, and wildflowers paint the meadows in vivid strokes. Mist drifts across the water in the morning, and deer step softly through the shadows at dusk. The region is home to the Tuvan people, a nomadic culture descended from Mongolian roots. Their yurts stilled the hillsides, and their throats singing echoes across the valleys. Local legend tells of a mysterious lake creature, a Kanas monster said to dwell in the depths. Its shape glimpsed but never claimed. To the Tuvan, the lake is sacred, a mirror between this world and the next. You can boat across the glassy surface of Kanas, watching the mountains fold into their reflections. Hike to Guanyu Pavilion, where the entire lake stretches below like a brushstroke of jade. Visit the traditional Heimu village, where wooden cabins rest in fields of snow or bloom, depending on the season. In autumn, photographers gather for the golden explosion of the large forests, while in winter, silence reigns, broken only by the soft crunch of boots and the whisper of wind. At Kanas, you don't just witness beauty, you vanish into it. Some mountains watch in silence. Mount Gongga commands in stillness, a towering monarch crowned with storms and sky. Known as the King of Sichuan, Mount Gongga, or Minya, rises 7,556 meters above sea level, making it the highest peak in eastern China. It reigns over the Dashua mountain range, straddling the border of Tibet and Sichuan. Snow-draped and glacier-fed, Mount Gongga towers above a world of sharp ridges, turquoise glacial lakes, and deep-cut valleys. Its icy flanks reflect the shifting light of dawn and dusk, blushing pink, burning gold, vanishing into night. The mountain's presence dominates everything around it, not just in height, but in soul. To Tibetan Buddhists, Gongga is a sacred mountain, a spiritual axis around which life, death, and rebirth revolve. Pilgrims walk its base in solemn kora, praying with each step. It's also a place of awe for mountaineers. Many have tried to summit, few have returned. Locals believe the mountain chooses who may ascend. You can hike to Yaha Pass, where the full panorama of the peak unfolds in jaw-dropping silence. Visit Tagong grasslands, where nomads herd yaks beneath a sky scraped by mountains. Stay in Tibetan homestays, drink yak butter tea, and listen to elders speak of sky gods and snow spirits. At Heilugu Glacier Park, walk across frozen rivers beneath creaking ice falls. Photographers come at sunrise, hoping to catch the mountain without clouds, a rare moment when the king reveals his face. Mount Gongga doesn't ask to be conquered, only witnessed, as something older than fear and deeper than words. Where four peaks rise like sisters cloaked in snow, Mount Siguniang whispers tales of beauty, solitude, and the edge of the sky. Known as the Four Sisters Mountain, Mount Siguniang is located in western Sichuan, near the border of the Tibetan Plateau. It's often called China's Alps, yet its soul is entirely its own, wild, silent, and sacred. The highest of the Four Sisters, Emei Peak, soars 6,250 meters into clouds. Glacial lakes reflect jagged ridgelines, and meadows shimmer with alpine wildflowers. The wind here carries pine, snow, and stillness. Local Tibetan legend says the four peaks are sisters turned to stone by the gods to protect their land. The mountains are sacred, and the valleys beneath them serve as places of pilgrimage and meditation. Many believe Yaomei, the youngest sister, holds the spirit of compassion and guides the lost through dreams. You can hike the Chongping Valley Trail, where waterfalls pour beside prayer flags and sacred rocks are wrapped in silk scarves. Camp beneath the stars in Haizi Valley, or ride horses across highland meadows with Tibetan herders. For serious climbers, Yaomei offers one of China's most challenging ascents, though most are content to simply gaze from afar. Visit the nearby town of Railong, where traditional Tibetan architecture meets mountain hospitality. In every direction, snow peaks pierce the sky like the spires of a forgotten cathedral. In Mount Siguniang, the mountains don't demand anything from you. They simply show you who you are in their presence. There are places not just far from cities, but far from time. In the Wangxian villages, the mountains hum with silence, and the air itself feels enchanted. Tucked into the deep folds of southern Hunan province, the Wangxian villages, whose name means place of immortals, are a cluster of ancient hamlets nestled among misty valleys, waterfalls, and forest-covered peaks. Remote and little known, they are hidden jewels on the edges of myth. The terrain feels almost imagined. Jade-colored mountains rise above terraced fields, while waterfalls pour into narrow gorges that echo like stone flutes. Wild bamboo forests, mossy trails, and flower-draped riverbanks give the land a dreamlike glow, especially at dawn, when golden light filters through curling fog like a painted scroll. Steeped in Taoist tradition, the Wangxian region has long been considered a retreat for sages, monks, and mystics. Local legends speak of immortals who once lived here, hidden among the peaks. Many of the villagers still follow ancient seasonal rituals tied to nature's rhythms, and stone altars the hillsides like forgotten prayers. Visit stone villages where time-worn wooden homes lean into each other like neighbors trading secrets. Stay in a traditional guest house lit by oil lamps and wake to the sound of roosters, waterfalls, and the hush of mountain wind. For artists, writers, or anyone seeking solitude, Wangxian is more than a destination. It's a doorway. In Wangxian, you don't just leave the world behind. You remember what it felt like before it rushed. There are places where the sky forgets its edge. In the Huangshan Mountains, clouds walk the earth, and mountains rise like ancient spirits through the veil. Located in Anhui Province, Huangshan, Yellow Mountain, is one of China's most iconic landscapes. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, it's famed for its granite peaks, twisted pine trees, and a sea of mist that turns stone into dream. "72 peaks pierce the sky, the tallest reaching over 6,000 feet. Ancient pines cling to rock like calligraphy, sculpted by wind. In the early morning, fog pools in the valleys, rising in waves, wrapping the cliffs in silence. Here, light shifts like brushstrokes on silk, gentle, sudden, eternal. Huangshan has inspired poets, monks, and painters for over 1,000 years. It is the muse of classical Chinese art, the birthplace of the Shanshui, mountain and water, painting style. Pilgrims once climbed these peaks in search of immortals, and legends say sages still whisper in the wind. You can ascend by stone stairways or take a cable car through the clouds. Walk the famous West Sea Canyon Trail, where cliffs drop like forgotten temples. Watch sunrise from Bright Summit Peak, where the horizon ignites in gold. Stay overnight at a mountaintop lodge and gaze at a sky unpolluted, infinite. Photographers chase the cloud sea, while others soak in the hot springs of the mountain's base. In winter, snow dusts the pine boughs like powdered jade, and the air carries an ancient stillness. Every step feels sacred, every view a painting unrolled before your eyes. In Huangshan, the world doesn't disappear, it becomes something more than real. Some landscapes don't just challenge belief, they rewrite it. In Zhangjiajie, stone pillars rise like ancient giants, holding the sky on their shoulders. Located in Hunan Province, Zhangjiajie National Forest Park was China's first UNESCO Global Geopark. It gained global fame as the inspiration for the floating mountains in Avatar, but its legend long predates Hollywood. Over 3,000 quartz sandstone pillars pierce the mist, some over 600 feet tall, draped in vines and crowned with lone pine trees. They seem to hover above the clouds. Deep ravines, mossy valleys, and natural stone bridges turn the park into a vertical dreamscape. Fog moves slowly here, curling around cliffs like breath over bone. These mountains have long inspired folklore. Locals speak of immortals who walk the peaks and spirits hidden in the stone. Ancient Tujia and Miao communities call this land sacred, a living connection between earth and sky. The pillars are not just formations, they're guardians in stone. You can walk across the Zhangjiajie glass bridge, suspended over a 980-foot canyon, a test of both courage and awe. Ride the Bailong elevator, the tallest outdoor lift in the world, and watch the forest unfold beneath you. Hike the Golden Whipstream Trail, where monkeys chatter and water dances over rocks. Tucked in the shadow of the Huangshan Mountains in Yunnan Province, Shaxi Ancient Town was once a vital trading stop on the legendary Tea Horse Road, a network older than the Silk Road, where tea, salt, and horses moved across empires. Some towns sleep, others remember, but Shaxi still listens to the footsteps of traders, the creak of wagons, and the quiet voice of the past echoing through its stone alleys. The valley around Shaxi is a quiet patchwork of rice fields, wildflowers, and mountain ridges. A gentle river weaves through the town like a ribbon of memory. Cobbled streets lead past wooden homes darkened by time, and every rooftop points toward a sky that still smells of wood smoke and rain. Once a thriving hub for buy and e-merchants, Shaxi was nearly lost to time, but its heart remained. The sitting market square, with its iconic stage and ancient banyan tree, still hosts gatherings as it did centuries ago. Temples, caravanserais, and olden speak softly of Buddhism, trade, and the rhythm of the Tea Horse Road. You can explore the market square at dawn, where farmers arrive with baskets of peaches, herbs, and wild honey. Visit the Xingjiao Temple, its murals whispering forgotten lore. Walk the stone bridge that has stood for 600 years. Rent a bike and ride into the countryside, past golden fields and water buffalo grazing in silence. Stay in a heritage guest house built with old cedar and sit under lantern light as folk musicians strum ancient songs. On Fridays, join the Bai minority in traditional dress as they fill the square with color, food, and laughter. In Shaxi, you don't just visit history, you share a seat at its market table. Where the river roars like thunder and cliffs rise like walls of a forgotten kingdom. Tiger Leaping Gorge tells the story of a tiger, a leap, and the unstoppable force of time. Carved between the snow-capped Jade Dragon Snow Mountain and Haba Snow Mountain, Tiger Leaping Gorge in Yunnan Province is one of the deepest and most spectacular river canyons in the world. Over 12 miles long and nearly 12,500 feet deep from summit to water. Here, the Yangtze River, known locally as the Jinsha, narrows and crashes through a gorge of stone and mist. The cliffs loom tall and sheer, their faces worn by centuries of water and wind. Water surges and slams into rock with a fury that echoes for miles, while above, the air is crisp with altitude and silence. Legend tells of a tiger escaping a hunter by leaping across the river at its narrowest point, a dramatic tale that gave the gorge its name. The Naxi people, indigenous to this region, revere the gorge as a sacred passage between realms, a place where nature still speaks in thunder and stone. You can trek the high trail, a narrow path carved into the cliffs, offering panoramic views of peaks dusted with snow and valleys carved by time. Rest in family-run goose houses and stone villages like Walnut Grove. Listen to the river crash beneath you as you sip tea under prayer flags fluttering in the wind. Stand on the rocks near the Tiger Leaping Stone, where the river is most furious, and feel the raw heartbeat of the earth. For those seeking intensity and beauty in equal measure, this is one of China's greatest hikes. In Tiger Leaping Gorge, nature doesn't whisper, it roars. And yet, in its fury, you may find your calm. If mountains could pray, they would look like this. In Wulingyuan, stone rises not as peaks, but as pillars of devotion carved by time itself. Located in Hunan Province, the Wulingyuan Scenic Area is a UNESCO World Heritage Site spanning over 260 square miles. It's home to more than 3,000 sandstone pillars and spires that stretch like fingers of the earth reaching for the sky. These narrow columns rise hundreds of feet above the forest floor, blanketed in mist and crowned by wind-shaped pines. Natural bridges, ravines, and gorges lace the terrain below, while hidden streams flow with crystalline clarity. Light dances between stone and shadow, creating a realm that feels both eternal and untouched. Wulingyuan is more than a natural marvel. It's a sanctuary of stories. Ancient Chinese poets saw these landscapes as proof of the divine. Locals speak of immortals who once descended to these peaks to meditate. It's a place where mythology and geology have lived side by side for millennia. You can walk the 10-mile gallery, a path lined with stone sculptures shaped by nature into dragons, sages, and warriors. Take the Tianzi Mountain cable car and soar above the spires as clouds weave between them. In Wulingyuan, you don't just walk through nature, you walk through wonder made solid. If water could dream, it would take the shape of Jiuzhaigou. This is where the earth becomes a painting, and each color is alive. Tucked deep in the Min Mountains of northern Sichuan province, Jiuzhaigou Valley is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of China's most treasured national parks. Named after the Valley of Nine Villages, it stretches over 180,000 acres of untouched alpine wilderness, a place where turquoise lakes, golden forests, and snowy peaks meet in perfect harmony. The magic of Jiuzhaigou lies in its palette. Lakes shimmer in surreal shades of teal, emerald, and sapphire. Their clarity so pure, they reflect the mountains like mirrors. Calcified waterfalls tumble down terraced cliffs, while multicolored forests blaze in autumn hues. From the crystalline waters of Five Flower Lake to the endless stairways of Nuorlang Waterfall, the valley seems sculpted by light and water itself. Snow-capped peaks rise quietly in the distance, wrapping the region in alpine stillness. Wildlife thrives here too, with golden snub-nosed monkeys and elusive taquins moving among the forests and hidden trails. Jiuzhaigou is not just a natural wonder, it's sacred. For centuries, it has been home to Tibetan and Shang communities whose traditions and beliefs are etched into the landscape. Locals believe the lakes were formed from a goddess's shattered mirror, each shard becoming a body of water reflecting her spirit. Prayer flags flutter in the mountain winds, and colorful homes the valley like lanterns. The connection to nature here is deep, spiritual, and woven into everyday life, where walking a trail is an act of reverence and silence carries the weight of legend. Visitors to Jiuzhaigou can follow wooden boardwalks that trace the edges of glowing lakes, cross fairy tale bridges over translucent streams, and explore seasonal trails that change color with every step. The Five Flower Lake, famous for its bright, patchwork hues, draws travelers from around the world. Hike to Long Lake for a panoramic view of snowy ridgelines reflected in glassy water, or take in the thunder of Pearl Shoal Waterfall as mist rises in glowing arcs. In Jiuzhaigou, you don't just see beauty, you step inside it. And for a moment, the world feels exactly as it should be. Some towns whisper in winding alleys, but Lijiang Old Town sings in the splash of canals, the echo of footsteps on stone, and the hum of a culture older than memory. Nestled in the shadow of Jade Dragon Snow Mountain in Yunnan Province, Lijiang Old Town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a living map of Naxi culture and one of China's best preserved ancient towns. Lijiang's heart beats with water. A network of crystal-clear canals flows beneath arched stone bridges, shaded by blooming cherry trees. Against a backdrop of Alpine peaks, the town's wooden houses glow with red lanterns, their tiled roofs catching the amber light of sunset. For over 800 years, Lijiang has been a center of Naxi civilization, a people with their own pictographic language, music, and matriarchal traditions. Walk its lanes, and you'll find Dongbao scripts inscribed on scrolls, and ancient songs played on hand-carved flutes. It was once a major stop along the ancient Tea Horse Road, where caravans of traders passed wisdom between worlds. You can stroll the winding streets of Sifang Square, where local artisans sell silver jewelry and hand-woven fabrics. Visit the Mu family mansion, a blend of Ming architecture and Naxi elegance. In the evening, watch a live Naxi orchestral performance, where instruments over 1,000 years old still carry the voices of the past. Explore nearby Black Dragon Pool, where the mountain's reflection shimmers in perfect stillness. And don't leave without climbing to Wangu Pavilion, a panoramic perch above rooftops and river veins, where Lijiang's charm stretches as far as the eye can see. In Lijiang, beauty isn't built. It's inherited, cherished, and sung from one generation to the next. In some places, every step upward feels like a step inward. Mount Emei is one such place, where the path to the peak is also a path to the soul. Rising from the mists of Sichuan province, Mount Emei is one of China's 4 sacred Buddhist mountains. Towering over 10,000 feet, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, where forests, temples, and clouds blur the line between earth and spirit. Blanketed in dense, ancient forest, the mountain is home to deep gorges, moss-covered cliffs, and over 3,000 plant species. As you climb, the air cools and thins, revealing bamboo groves, rushing streams, and sudden clearings of breathtaking light. At dawn, the sea of clouds spills across the peaks like a dream in motion. For over 2 millennia, Mount Emei has been a revered pilgrimage site. Monks and seekers still ascend its 48 temples, some carved directly into rock. The golden summit, crowned with a shimmering statue of Samantabhadra Buddha atop a lotus, has drawn spiritual travelers from every corner of China. Legends say the mountain itself is alive, a silent guardian that blesses the devoted. You can hike winding stairways for hours or take the cable car to the summit and watch the sun rise above a rolling cloudscape. Explore the Baowu Temple at the foot, then climb past monkeys swinging through the trees near Wanyan Temple. Stay in a monastic guest house and fall asleep to the sound of gongs and wind. For the curious and the devout, Emei offers moments of peace, beauty, and silence, the kind that can't be taught, only felt. On Mount Emei, the higher you climb, the quieter the world becomes, until only your heartbeat remains. Tucked within the mountains of Guizhou province, the Miao ethnic villages are scattered across terraced valleys and misty ridges. Remote, self-sustaining, and richly vibrant, these communities are a living museum of craftsmanship, ritual, and resilience. The Miao people are one of China's oldest ethnic minorities, with a rich oral history and a spiritual bond with nature. Their traditions include silverwork that glitters like frost, batik cloth dyed deep indigo, and embroidery so fine it tells stories without words. Festivals mark the turning of every season, from the Longsheng Festival, filled with music and dance, to the Sisters' Meal Festival, where courtship is wrapped in color and cuisine. You can walk through Lijiang Qianhu Miao Village, the largest Miao settlement in China, where the hillside lights up with lanterns at dusk. Try traditional sticky rice dyed with wildflowers, or watch silversmiths hammer delicate crowns that shimmer with mint. Join in a dance circle during a village celebration, the drums echoing through the valley like thunder wrapped in joy. Visitors are welcomed not as strangers, but as part of the story, seated at wooden tables beneath banners of silk and song. Some places aren't reached by roads, only by faith and footfall. Yubeng village is one such place, hidden deep in the clouds, where the mountains keep their secrets close. Tucked beneath the sacred Meili Snow Mountains in northwestern Yunnan, Yubeng village is only accessible by foot or mule. Isolated and pristine, it lies beyond the reach of roads, a hidden Tibetan enclave cradled in snow and silence. Yubeng is divided into upper and lower villages, both framed by dramatic cliffs and snow-capped peaks. Glacial streams run beside wooden homes, prayer flags flutter between trees, and waterfalls descend from ridges like silver threads. In spring, the valleys bloom with alpine flowers. In winter, snow hushes every sound but the wind. To Tibetan pilgrims, Yubeng is holy ground. It is said that sacred waters flow from the ice lake, and those who complete the full Kora around the mountain receive purification. The village has preserved ancient beliefs, chants, and customs, untouched by tourism's fast current. Locals offer butter lamps at dawn and tell stories that echo like chants through the pine-covered trails. Hike from Ninong Gorge through narrow trails that open suddenly into alpine wonder. Trek to the sacred waterfall, where ice melts into myth. Visit the shimmering ice lake, a mirror to the sky at over 3,800 meters. Stay with Tibetan families and share meals warmed by yak dung stoves. Along the way, you may pass monks, wandering dogs, and fellow seekers, all drawn here for something deeper than scenery. In Yubeng, every step strips away the noise of the world, until all that's left is sky, silence, and the steady beat of your own breath.